Okay, let's go live. It's James Maduke speaking. Today's video, what I want to do is I want to go through a really important kind of decision you're going to have to make. And what is it? How are you going to pick the right business model for your education business? If you're interested in starting, building, and growing an education business, creating and selling online courses, info products, all of those things that can earn you money just sharing your experience and your passions with other people who would like to know about and do the same thing as you, this is the second most important part that you're going to have to learn about. And why am I saying second? Well, because just remember, we've got my campus map that I've talked about before in a couple other videos. And this is one of the steps at the beginning of that map that really determines the other steps that follow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the campus map so you can see where we are in that process. And then I'm going to introduce how to pick the right business model. And you really have two choices. And I'm going to show you those two choices are determined by four kind of personal styles or things that you want to get accomplished when it comes to your purpose and the goals of your education business. So why don't we take a look at this now, see how it looks like and where the steps are and how this fits in. And again, I'll do my best to go through this part quickly. If you haven't already, of course, like and subscribe to the channel here, but also go to trainingsites.io. Let me just pull that one up there, /join. You can join up on the membership site there or the campus, and you'll learn the difference in a second. But this course that explains the campus map and how it all works in your education business, it's free for you. So we're going to go through right now step number 2. And if you've missed some of the other videos that I've done about this, you'll see that there's one on discovering your perfect niche. I did one this week actually on my 1-15-25 model about finding all of the topics or the questions and answers and video ideas, lesson ideas that you can put into your main topic and actually to identify your main topic. But this is number 2 when we're talking about clarifying your goals and the purpose of your business. Now, the thing is, when we're doing this, the choice that you make here or the goals and the purpose that you identify during the steps here, they change everything after. And, and as much as I like to say it has to be cut in stone, you may grow, you may change, you may shift around as you start creating courses and content, start getting questions from the people that you're trying to help. But you have to have some kind of big overarching purpose or idea on where you want to go with your business. And this is where you have to pick, or at least have an idea of the 2 different business models that are in your education business. So why don't we do this? I'm going to go through, actually, I'm going to open up another map here so that we have it. And then what we can do is I'll open it up and hopefully you'll be able to see it. And if not, let me just do this. I'm just going to move myself out of the way here and see if we can actually, where can I do that? Let's do this one. We'll do this one instead. So it shows up. That's big enough. Okay, so here's what's happening. You have 4 kinds of things in your education business. You have the purpose of the education business. You have how you want to deliver the education that you're providing. You're going to have some kind of events or teaching events, kind of the way you want to share it. And then you've got a group of people that you want to help. So these are 4 pieces that you're going to have to decide on or think about when you're looking at picking the right business model. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at purpose first, and you're going to see there's only 2 kinds of business models that are kind of the ones that you want to focus on. So I'm just going to open this up now so that you have it and you can see it, and we'll move it so it's in the middle of the screen. And this is the one that we need to talk about here. And what is it? It's all about your choice between a membership site and a learning campus. Now, this is called a campus map because of my goal for it, but you have the choice about the purpose of what it is that you want to do. Do you want to have a membership site or do you want to have an e-learning campus? Because the thing that's different is all of the other pieces about the content you have, the way you want to deliver it, the people you want to deliver it to, and the way or the events that stuff is taught. So whenever you're thinking about these things, I want you just to think in the back of my mind, okay, membership site or campus, how does the rest of what I'm doing fit into each of those different models. So let me open up this one here. Membership site. And again, this is all in detail in a separate course. But a membership site, the thing that's interesting in the membership site is your goal or the work that you're going to be doing. If you choose a membership site, it's going to be about engagement. And the engagement is, how do I keep people always interested within my membership site? What are the things that get them coming back each day, each month? How do I get them to actually put input and share with other people? So your focus is on engagement, and it's also on content creation, because in a membership site, you're always providing new content. And there's usually two kinds of content people will talk about. The first one is the training content that you put up. And the second part is that user-generated content, which comes from the networking and the engagement. So if you're building a membership site, usually it's hard to get user-generated content at the start. So your job, your purpose is to get new content in as frequently as you can to get people to get back, and then encourage engagement to get started. And in this case, the focus is on growing and keeping your members who are paying monthly, yearly, quarterly, lifetime payments. But you have to really market hard on those memberships as the part to monetize your content. Now, again, there's different kind of ways to earn money from this. That's actually in the middle of the map. There's 13 different monetization strategies in my campus blueprint. But this membership site, if that's something that appeals to you and that's what you want to focus on, you're looking at a membership site. Now, on the other hand, what you might want to consider is a campus. Now, what's the difference? Campus is, the membership is all about not engagement, but it's about focusing on a specific outcome or a transformation. So if you want to show someone how to start, build, and grow an education business, that's not necessarily about a membership with new content each week or each month or each day. It's more about, I have a process that I want to teach, and I want to teach you how to go from the beginning to the end. And hopefully there's a little more at the end or another process to teach, but it's all about these particular pieces. There we go, just had a call, so we put that one to voicemail. So outcomes and transformations is what that one's all about. The way that you're dealing with people and delivering the content is not about volume, it's about cohorts. And if you don't know what a cohort is, that's when you have a group of people that start learning at the same time and go through that transformational process or that transformational education. They go through all at the same time. So there's a start and a finish. Think of something like a university campus or a middle school or a high school. You don't let someone come in and go, well, I want to start in grade 11, but then I'm going to go to grade 9, and then I'm going to go to grade 10, and next month I'm going to be in grade 8. They can't flop around and go through all the content whenever they want, wherever they want, whatever's new, whatever's old. You don't let them go through. It's like, hey, this is the part that you have to do right now, and what you do now changes what you do later. So there's a set path through the information, and it requires the person to either finish the work that needs to be done after that step or during that step, being able to assess where they are, ask questions about their unique situation and how that fits in. So that cohort is all about it. And it's not about members, it's about students. It's about students. So you're teaching someone how to do something, a particular skill. It's not about information and volume of content. It's about teaching someone who you want to actually have get what it is that you're teaching. So hopefully those ones kind of make sense. You've got to think about, how am I going to put this together? What are the pieces that I want to focus on? Which are the ones that I personally like doing? How do I want to do stuff with the people that I'm going to be reaching out to? And again, all of the stuff on the course content that you create depends on these two choices. The kind of membership site or campus you build depends on these things. the way that you market it, all depends on the purpose or the at least direction of the purpose that you want to focus on. So if you have some idea on how you want that to go, what's after that? What's next? Well, the thing that's next, of course, is how. Let me open this one up. How are you going to deliver it? So what's the scoop here? How are you going to deliver it? What is the way that you like delivering or providing this transformation? And there's two choices. And what are they? It's like, am I going to do the membership, which is all about content, or am I going to do the cohorts, which is the group? Now, if you just like creating if you just like creating videos and throwing videos up, that's what you like doing, probably better off to do something along the content and membership, because it's about volume. The more volume you create in the membership site, if you're teaching it as a membership site, the more volume that keeps people coming back, and you're providing value with volume. Now, I'm assuming, of course, that the content you're creating is good content. I'm hoping that it is. So, you've got a situation where you, again, have to have something new. You also have to make sure that the content that you put in the past is relevant, because stuff changes, times change, information changes, and that existing content, while it may have worked in the past, you may have to go back and review it, and more importantly, update it. The thing with content marketing and memberships is it's about organization. When you have a large volume of content, you have to be really good at curating it and understanding, where do I put this? How do I do it so people can find the information that they need? Do I have all the answers to the questions they're asking? And is it easy for them to come in and find that particular content or that particular answer to that question? Now, the thing that's here is, if you're doing organization and you're answering a lot of questions with a lot of volume, doing long form content where you've just got recordings of videos that are an hour long or something, that can be really tough, because someone may use your membership site as a resource, and if they have to go through an hour video to get an answer to a single question, they're not going to be too happy. So you're going to be able to, in a membership site, be able to curate stuff and make it searchable, or at least accessible, to answer specific questions that people or members are coming to in that particular site. Now, the other thing that you do in a membership site, and again, will some of these cross over between both of them? Of course, but membership sites do really, really well if there's a form of gamification. Now, the reason I say that is I was looking at content there that you have to deliver to them. Gamification, if you're not familiar with it, it's rewarding people visually on the screen or based on their actions in the membership site by becoming involved and engaged in it. The more they become engaged, the rewards are given. They may have levels, and there's just an opportunity for people to be rewarded for generating their own content. So delivering that content, but also making it enjoyable and excitable and incentivized for them to actually consume the content that's there, and also share their experiences with it. So delivery, how are you going to deliver that content? Membership site is about the content there. What's the next piece? Well, if we're going to do the cohorts, or we're going to be teaching something, it's about a learning path. And a learning path is setting up your courses or content based on the fact that they don't have access to all of the content until they've consumed the prerequisite content. So those cohorts, not only are they timed with a start and a finish with a group of people who are going to go through together, what you want to do is you want to put it so that there's levels or a path to learn that process that you're providing. Someone can't go in and they just can't jump from one lesson to another course. You can't, well, you can, but you want to make sure that you're teaching something through either set classes or blended learning, and that they have prerequisites so that they have done or completed the steps, the education, the assignments, and the tasks before they learn about the second bit of information that they need in that process. and complete that after they've completed the first one. And I mentioned blended learning because that's the other part that does really well. If you're going and saying, you know what, I really, really love doing live teaching, and you're looking at a membership site versus a campus, one is about content, the second one is about teaching. Can you do sort of live events and different kind of content on a membership site? Yeah, but if you like blended learning, where the actual teaching process live online, and we'll get into delivery in a second, but if you like that part, that cohort content and that structured content, it fits better than in with just a membership site. You're also going to look at things like case studies where you're going to be able to show, or you like seeing someone who's gone through that, and you want to be able to look not only at the ones you've done, but you can also apply the teaching to people that have gone ahead. And again, the reason it's case studies is because when you're teaching stuff, everyone's questions and the answers they need are unique. If it's got a membership site and about content, it's hard to get everyone's point of view covered or everyone's unique situation. So it's like content, but it's very, very set content for a single instance because it's just recorded content. When you get to blended learning, you can teach the information, but because you have outside influences or questions that are being answered during the live sessions where you can give examples of how it applies to someone else, that's really powerful. And if you like doing that, that cohort model, I think, is campus model and the cohort teaching works a little bit better. Okay, so we got purpose for you and what you want to do. We've got the content, the type of content that needs to be delivered. What's next? Well, let's go take a look at this one here, which is events. Move that best I can here. So, blended learning, that's one thing. There are events that happen in a membership site and a learning campus. And I'm talking about as much as you can do events that are live events where you're in a physical classroom. I'm focusing specifically on virtual events, but there's two kinds of events. What are they? There's the webinar event and a workshop event. So a webinar event is usually what you will find in a membership business model. A workshop event is one that you'll find in a campus. So you might call it workshop, you might call it class, but there's a couple differences between them. So let's take a look at webinar first, which is about, in many cases, the membership site, right? So the format is usually the instructor, you, broadcasting content. So it's one way. It's not necessarily about having everyone interact and ask questions and situations. It's more limited to, I'm the expert. I'm going to share content about maybe a particular topic or something that's a course or a question that's in a course, but it's more about you as the teacher or the expert, the content knowledge holder, and just kind of sharing or structuring something that's out. So it's a one-way communication is where the focus on. Second thing is the purpose is just content delivery. It's like you have a whole bunch of stuff, you need to get it out, and you try and present it in a way that's easy to remember, that allows people to understand the concept that you're getting across, and then go out and implement it on their own. Okay? Limited interaction. Yes, you can have a Zoom call, but in many cases, when you do some kind of a Zoom call on a webinar, it's 45 minutes of a Zoom call and 15 minutes of selling something, or 20 minutes of fluff content and then selling something. But that limited interaction, still, it's maybe asking a couple questions on a chat that someone's put in, or even a Zoom call, you may open it up and have a couple questions where they're talking about that specific content that you let go, but it's limited. It's not really about everyone working together like in a classroom. It's more about just answering specific questions that may come up, if they're allowed, asking that teacher / instructor or whoever the content expert is, and being able to get a little bit of clarification on things. The duration, usually the duration of a webinar is 30 to 45 minutes. By the time there's an introduction and an exit kind of thing, because it tends to be more of not knowing who's on the call, they might be existing customers or new potential customers. So there's always a whole bunch at the front and end of it that usually takes up a lot of time in that webinar strategy, which is usually for a membership site. Now, on the other hand, if you're looking at a campus, that changes things around a little bit. Now, what does it change around? Well, okay, and I'm talking in generalities, of course, but a workshop is interactive and hands-on. And what do I mean by that? The interactive part is when you have a teacher who is going through or teaching a specific skill or delivering content, but actively gets involved in asking the students questions and responding to their questions and their feedback. So the purpose of these is to teach a specific skill or a specific process that is part of your big topic, right? So it's not about sharing content, it's about getting people to understand and apply what it is that's important in that class or in that workshop. So interactive and hands-on. Purpose is to teach a specific skill, and it's interactive tasks, things where you have a partner that you work with after the call or after the class. You may work in groups, have accountability groups, but the thing is that in a class or in a workshop, a task may be given live, and you may stop the teacher talking. It may be a 5-minute break or 10-minute break where you're asking someone during the class, hey, go and use ChatGPT, use the prompt that I just taught you, go and do a couple practice ones, and then when you come back, we'll talk about it. Or create a mind map, or collect the tools that you need, or research this. But you're actually giving tasks during the call, during the class workshop, so that people actually have to do something. And then the time frame. In many cases, a class or a workshop or a series of classes in a workshop or a cohort are over a longer period of time, and they be recurring on the same particular topic. So it's about applying the content, doing the actual work in the class, answering the questions as the teacher. So those events that happen on a membership site are in general different than on a campus. Which one do you like to do? Which one's more fun for you? Which are the ones that you actually are more comfortable with, or ones that you've done in the past? That's going to determine the kind of events. You're going to have to think about that and go, okay, great. I think I need a membership site as my business model, not a learning campus as my business model. So the final one is the people. Is the people. Membership or campus. Let me minimize these ones here. And that's really being comfortable and understanding, if I'm going to be talking to someone, do I just want members where I'm not necessarily having to talk to everyone at the same time, and I want to treat people as members and focus on the content, but not making sure that everyone gets what they want and everyone gets the transformation that they want? Are they just members that I want to keep engaged in my content? Or do they want to be a student in a campus when you're personally involved or invested in the outcome? So membership, again, ongoing ad hoc content, resources, community interaction. This content may be checklists, downloads, PDFs, community discussions without you as the teacher. So it's not only course content, but it's additional ad hoc stuff that is not part of the process, but it's something that is of value to people to have them keep coming back to your membership site and paying a monthly subscription, as an example. Again, the focus is on engagement, and you try and don't have the engagement based on you as the teacher in the membership site. You want to see if you can get people involved in discussion forums, this user-generated content, where they kind of answer their own questions, networking with each other on your own without you as the person that's there doing it. And do they message each other? And then These ones have multiple areas of interest. They tend to be really, really broad, and they've got all sorts of information in one membership site, and people select areas, which is the one that's interesting to them right now because of where they're at. And you may have one person that's over here and another person that's over here looking at completely different information. So it's kind of ad hoc all over the place. And again, the focus isn't on you as the teacher. You're trying to just provide this content to let people self-select with it. So those are members, membership site. That's what you like. You need a membership site. And again, remember these 4 things that I'm going through, deciding on these and playing around with these are the things that determine what kind of site you set up, what kind of content you create, how do you market it, how do you actually deliver it to people. So you got to kind of think of these things and be comfortable with yourself, the content that you have, and the way that you want to teach it. So that's a membership site. You got members there. What's the next piece? It's students. Students are all about you as the teacher being invested in the outcomes. And usually, again, usually there is a learning path or a set process or a track of courses or content that is required for them to go through to get to the transformation that you've promised to them. You've done the transformation. What you're doing is you're sharing or teaching your experiences as the instructor, and you're going to teach people how you did it and all of the steps across the way. But if you have steps and they have to happen in order, you are the expert. You're doing the learning path, and you're going to be kind of have to have that path set out ahead of time, just the exact same way as I've got the My Small Biz map and the campus, that process of starting, building, growing education business. I'm in a campus, right? It's not about the content. It's about how do I start, build, and grow my education business. The thing that I'm looking at here is, am I going to make sure that people have completed tasks? Yes. Am I going to give people self-assessments? Yes. Am I going to do live cohorts or workshops based on people where they're into the starting their education business, building their education business, or growing their education business? Yeah. Is there time frames and challenges? Yes, absolutely. Those are students. So you've got 4 different pieces there. You've got what kind of people do I want to be involved with? What kind of events or live events do I want to do to work with those particular people? How do I like delivering what content? And then what's the purpose of my business? These are all things that you have to decide for your business model. And you have 2 choices. Am I going to focus on membership model and members, or am I going to look at an education business and campus and working with students? These 2 kind of flavors that you have here determine the business model, the way that you're going to generate your income, the way that you're going to set up your education business, the kind of content that you're going to create, and the way you're going to deliver it. So I hope you kind of enjoyed this. If you haven't already, make sure to visit trainingsites.io and join this course for the campus map is there, the one that we talked about at the start with all the 10 steps. I've also got a course here on picking the right business model that expands on everything that we've done here. And again, all I'm interested in doing is helping you basically sell courses or build a membership site or have an education business and a campus. I'd love to help you out. My model is building the campus. So if you want to see how that works, make sure to reach out to me at trainingsites.io. There's always a free call that's available, but just come into the community where we have for the course, ask some questions. I'd love to help you out. So my name is James. It's trainingsite.io. Take care. Expect the best. We'll be back later today or maybe tomorrow. Some more great videos on how to start, build, and grow your education business.